The Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands has accused Taiwan of instigating anti-government protest in his country. Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare survived a no-confidence vote on Monday after weeks of the riots in the capital. Speaking after the vote, Sogavare said he would not submit to calls to resign by Taiwan's agents.
He blamed Taiwan and its agents in Malaita, the Solomon Islands' most populous province. Taiwan's foreign ministry has denied involvement, saying that the unrest was caused by shortcomings in Sogavare's administration.
And if I am to be removed, it must be by the legal process, and it must be by members of parliament and not by calls to resign by Taiwan's agents, Mr. Speaker.
Speaking at Parliament, the Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands accused Taiwan agents of stirring riots within his country. The Solomon Islands, which switched allegiance from Taipei to Beijing in 2019, has been shaken by anti-government protests in its capital in recent weeks. On Monday, amid calls for him to step down, the Prime Minister survived a no-confidence vote in Parliament, with 15 MPs voting in support and 32 against. Taiwan's foreign ministry denied the allegation of involvement in the unrest, saying it was caused by the Prime Minister.
His own improper and weak governance triggered public protest. He's pinned that on Taiwan's government and on pro-democracy figures friendly with our country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs deeply regrets and condemns the irresponsible words and actions of Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare. The central government of the Solomon Islands must listen to the voice of the people.
In 1983, the Solomon Islands and Taiwan established diplomatic ties, which lasted more than 30 years. That changed after Sogavare assumed office in April 2019. In September 16th of that year, the Solomon Islands severed ties with Taiwan. 5 days later, he announced his country would adhere to the One China principle and establish formal relations with Beijing. A DPP lawmaker said Sogavare was blaming Taiwan to hide his own corruption and leadership failures.
The Solomon Islands broke its commitments and turned its back on justice. It left Taiwan and established ties with China, which not only did not improve the local economy, but caused chaos in the country. So many citizens there have major grievances against their government. When they accepted a bribe to leave Taiwan, that gave rise to even more criticism. The Solomon Islands' government should really reflect on all this.
Following the vote, reports have emerged that the Solomon Islands' most populous province of Malaita will seek an independence referendum. It appears that for the Pacific Island nation, the political unrest is far from quelled.